foremost it is Swami Vivekananda as far as this subject is concerned. Because for nationalism, he started at a time, let us make a comparison with the times of Vivekananda and our present times, and we see the contrast. Vivekananda started at a time when there was no nationalist spirit, there was no national movement. Even Bengal division has not taken place, Vande Mataram has not even, movement has not started, and Congress has just started as a stooge of Britishers, and there was absolutely nothing on the political front. And if anybody was thinking in terms of nationalism, he was ridiculed as the most dangerous enemy of the society. And then that is one. And then the thing is, the time was when after 1857 rebellion, the whole country was demoralized. All the nationalist forces have risen, and they were trounced, they were vanquished and suppressed with the iron foot. So there were so many people who were martyrs, and Britishers with vengeance have curbed all freedoms, and all kinds of Rakshasas were at large. So there was every reason for people to get scared, to get demoralized, and there was absolutely nothing to inspire the spirit of nationalism at that time. At that time, this man has risen. Swami Vivekananda was the only person who has risen at that time. And what were the circumstances that made him? He just then lost his father, and from the amount of richness, the family has fallen into abject poverty. And then there was no one to support the family. He was the eldest son. He has to take care of his mother. He has to take care of ways and means to feed the mouths of the family. And all the brothers and sisters were all youngsters. So with such kind of family responsibilities, he would be perfectly justified in saying that I have to take care of first my family, my mother and my siblings. No, he has not done it. He said, let my family suffer, let my mother suffer. I have to take care of, I am concerned more about my motherland, her emancipation, her welfare more than my family. He has risen, and with the message, blessing of Ramakrishna Paramsa, you know what he has done. And he has carried the nationalist spirit, Hindutva banner, and take it to the center stage of the world, and won so many hearts, and rest is history. And now we come to the present times, where we are in terms of when it comes to the problems faced by Swami Vivekananda, we have absolutely no problem at all. At that time, the Britishers were there who were out to crush India and Indians and Indian spirit. Now we have a nationalist government, a ablest prime minister, a wonderful party, and a kind of dedicated organizations behind them. And there is every reason for nationalist forces to be vibrant, to be inspired and bubbling with enthusiasm. But the thing is, even now, we find that the anti-national forces, all kinds of Rakshasic forces, are at large. They are throwing some mud or other on the nation, nationalist spirit, national issues, on India, on religion and dharma. And we people, we find ourselves wasting our time on useless things, and we are still demoralized, and there is nothing to counter these forces, to give them the kind of a befitting reply. So instead of the nationalist forces, which have every reason to be jubilant and inspired and full of spirit, we find that anti-nationalist forces are full of spirit, and nationalist forces are yet to find their feet. This is something that looks odd to me. So, without wasting your further time, I would like to conclude that let us remember Swami Vivekananda. let us rise, let us think of unity and how to implement the nationalist spirit which has been put into our society and polity by so many stalwarts. The opportunity situation is very, very right, and we have absolutely nothing to fear. We have every reason to move ahead, forge ahead. Only thing lacking is our own unity and our own sense of some kind of solidarity. And we find most of the people wasting our time, their time on trivial things. For instance, like Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev, when he comes up and starts in a great movement for the liberation of temples, we find these jokers throwing mud and picking holes on what he has said on some issues some time back. And this perfectly suits the agenda of anti-nationalist forces, anti-Indian forces, anti-Dharmic forces. That's why we should realize the game. We should stand up and stand by the warriors who are fighting Dharma. And very recently, one heartening feature is even Vishwa Hindu Parishad at its Margadarshak Mandal has passed a resolution that they want liberation of temples from government control. This is a subject on which last week Prabhakar Rao garu held a meeting and you all deliberated. And we see this welcome development where Vishwa Hindu Parishad, the foremost Hindu organization, now is ready to launch a national movement on this. And the Sadhguru, Jaggi Vasudev and other Sadhgurus, they are all coming. Very soon, even our Pithadhipatis and Matadhipatis, they are also thinking on the same lines. And we are going to forge a great nationalist movement very soon, unitedly. And that will give shivers to all these anti-national forces. So what is needed is we have to think of the times, think of the task ahead and move with confidence in ourselves and belief in our own mission. For that you are moving in the right direction and I wish you all the best. I hope the deliberations in this session will throw more light and fortify our resolve to go ahead. Thank you very much.
Dhanyawad. It's very nice, Dhanyawad. It's very nice introduction to us, and I believe to all the people the information what we are given about VHP and Jaggi Vasudev and other associates, all the other Pithadhipatis. It's a very good indication. I hope that they will come and we all support, and all the people who are present here and who support Veda Samskruti unifiedly will help and support those organizations, those bigger organizations, and most of the associates associated here also in the group will definitely support those organizations and see that is properly organized by them. And now this Paripuran Swamiji from Kasiyadal second, Swagatam Swamiji, Namaskaraha. So now I request our Executive Secretary Lalita ji from Tirupati to introduce this main speaker of today. Shastri garu, namaskaram. Thank you very much.
Namaskaram. Thank you.
No. Ashwiji, unmute and start again. Lalita ji.
Namaskara Mahodaya, Namaskara Paripurnananda Swamiji, and Namaskara to all the dignitaries, and the welcome address by M.B.R. Shastri sir. A special namaskaram to the speaker, our main speaker of the day, Kumari Sujatha garu, who has obliged our request to address our webinar in spite of her busy schedules. Kumari Sujatha garu has dedicated her life. Vivekananda came time to transfer the message of Swami Vivekananda to the entire country, to the youth. She is a Jivanamriti, that means her life she has dedicated. She is a Karyakarta, Jivanamriti Karyakarta means her entire life is dedicated for this mission. And with all the Karyakartas, and there are different positions there, and all of them have joined here. Our speaker, the original, our welcome, F.A.R. Shastri Garu was telling, what was Swami Vivekananda's approach towards our nation, the motherland. His very perspective towards the motherland was greater than to his own personal life. And how he made the image of India glow in the face in the Western world through his Chicago speech. All of us know what is Swami Vivekananda. With that background, as Veda Samskruti Samiti, our organization stands for uniting all the Hindu forces, Hindu platform. With this objective in mind, we thought that Vivekananda Kendra is foremost in dedicating themselves for many years for the cause of services to the nation. That's why we invited them. They have made this day possible. Come a main speaker, Sujatha Garu. She was originally in 1988. She started her academy through a graduation, and with her master's, she became a faculty in English in the St. Anne's College. From 1996 onwards, she discontinued her academy, her job also, and she became a full-time Karyakarta for Vivekananda Kendra. She has worked at the national level, and for all the tribal population, she has gone to various places through various services of Vivekananda Kendra to reach the grassroots levels. And she has motivated the youth. She has been involved into all the activities of Vivekananda Rock Memorial 150th year of celebrations. She was the national coordinator. She has worked in Northeast states for 10 years. Completely she has gone to a place, to the forest regions to work for the tribals. She has dedicated herself, and the way Vivekananda Kendra through 1,005 centers, hospitals, schools, and carrying out so many Varga activities, which our main speaker will talk elaborately today. They are reaching the youth. They are transforming the youth of the nation. And they are seeing nowhere the Hindus will feel disjointed from the mainstream life of our nation. With this noble objective in mind, they have formed teams, they have formed motivational committees everywhere where we all got involved. They are conducting meetings, weekly meetings. Personally, I am involved into their Swadhyaya works, Sahitya works, Yoga Varga, Kendra Varga. There are so many activities being done by Vivekananda Kendra, which she will be elaborately describing. And she will also tell us the scope of getting involved into their activities, where we all will also get a lot of knowledge, and also how we can share our strengths with Vivekananda Kendra, and also Veda Samskruti Samiti also. We want to really bring all such forces into one platform. With that noble objective, we had called for this meeting. I once again thank Ms. Sujatha Garu, Kumari Sujatha Garu, for sparing her valuable time for addressing us. I request her to address the August seminar. Yeah, Sujatha Garu, please, you can just continue.
Pranams to all. Pranams to revered Prabhakar Rao Garu, VSS Shastri Garu, Lalitaka, and all the wonderful members of Veda Samskruti Samiti. It is really a privilege, and like Prabhakar Rao Garu said, only when he mentioned, I became conscious that today was the last day of this year, and we are going to step into last Sunday, in fact, and we will soon step into a fresh new year, and may it be a year of more hope and strength for this great cause. With your permission, Prabhakar Rao Garu, may I use a PowerPoint presentation
Sure.
to speak?
Amma, you can use it, Sujatha, and you can also have, if you possible, you can also give your prayer also. Mahodaya?
No, that's okay, Amma. Because
Yeah,
many prayers
okay,
are
okay.
all the same.
Okay, sure. If you're comfortable, yeah, you can carry on.
Absolutely. This is the topic for the day, and this is the place that many of us must have already come, and this is also the place where, if we have not visited, I genuinely hope that we will visit in the coming years. Coincidentally, this is the 50th year of the Vivekananda Rock Memorial, and when you said we have to work and find something to unify us. That was the vision of Swami Vivekananda. That was the vision of Eknathji Ranade, who started the organization also. This should be a place which will unify. And if we see geographically and spiritually, it is the place where all the great, wonderful Punya rivers of our country flow through various places, straight and crooked, and meet here. In the construction of the Vivekananda Rock Memorial also, many of us probably would know that all organizations and people across various states, various communities came together. So even before the organization was born, the memorial itself is, many refer to it as Dakshina Gangotri. So it starts the third wave of our Swami Vivekananda. First was when he came and meditated, and then went to Chicago. Second, after his in the centenary year of his birth, that is in 1963, and lately in 13-14, which marked his 150th birth anniversary. So, without much this thing, I will start this narrate and share this inspiring story. And since this is the 50th year of the Vivekananda Rock Memorial, the mantra is Ek Bharat, Vijayi Bharat. Because Swami Vivekananda then later in 1963 and for the Rock Memorial, the country was unified across various lines to come together. So in that sense, it's Ek Bharat and Vijayi Bharat. So we'll first look at the Rock Memorial story. The seed for this organization was laid in 1892 when Swami Vivekananda meditated on this rock. And then we know 2013-14, recently we've also celebrated his 150th birth anniversary. But many of us might not know that the Rock Memorial is a big success story for this vision, Ek Bharat, Vijayi Bharat. This is the picture of the rock when Swamiji meditated there. There were twin rocks, and we know he didn't have money in his pockets. Sannyasi died, went to Sri Pada Rai.
Amma Sujatha, your screen is not to see. We are not seeing the screen, ma.
I'm seeing.
Yes.
I think we might need to rejoin because I'm able to see it in two places.
Yeah, it is visible. We are seeing.
Oh, you are seeing it. Okay, I am not able to see. Okay, sorry. Then I think some problem here. Yeah.
Maybe you need to rejoin. Network.
Go back and rejoin, please.
So this was the status of those rocks, twin rocks, when Swamiji had meditated. And many had actually wanted that there should be some memorial built there. Even Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan ji and all had written in a library which was near in the Kanyakumari town that there should be a memorial, befitting memorial. So, 1963, many people felt that everywhere centenary celebrations are being done. Why not we also have one memorial for Swamiji here? Because after all, he discovered the mission of his life here, what he should do as Guru Agnya. Guru had told him, serve mother, worship the mother. So he knew it did not certainly mean he worship Kali Mata. He knew that his Guru had some other plan in mind. And so here he discovered the mission of his life, how to serve or worship mother. And when this plan came up, section of the local community, actually they were converted Christians of the fishermen's community. Pastor told them, if there's pastors felt if a memorial comes for Swami Vivekananda, these people will all go back to the Hindu Sanatana Dharma. So in order to confuse these people, they said, you should oppose because otherwise Satan worship will start. So simple-minded fishermen, they started opposing. Okay, then this group of people who wanted the memorial, they approached the chief minister. But politics intervened. We know in our country what happens. So clashes started and all, it became a flashpoint. So the Tamil Nadu chief minister, Bhaktavatsala, he said, in my lifetime I'll never give permission for this memorial. Then they approached the union, that time it was Nehru. Nehru passed the file to Humayun Kabir, who said, a memorial there will spoil the beauty of the rock. You know, it is such a beautiful place. Waves and sky and all that. So, but gradually it became a communal flashpoint. But these people felt they should. So someone advised them to go to Nagpur and meet Param Pujaniya Guruji Goldwalkar. They met him and he said, I'll give you a very befitting person for this memorial. And that is how Eknathji Ranade entered the scene. For many of us would know, Eknathji was then the Sarkaryavaha of RSS. But he had already given up his Daitva, he had moved away from it, and he felt that there were some things in the organization, and his experience of more than 40 years in the Sangha made him think that there are certain challenges that the country faces for which we require some fresh new approach, a fresh new dimension. So in order to discover that, he practically locked himself up with Swami Vivekananda's literature. What we say Vivekananda Mayam became. He went to Calcutta, he studied Swamiji's volumes, complete works. He interacted with a lot of Swamijis of the Ramakrishna Mutt to find out exactly what Vivekananda had in mind. And then he brought out a booklet, Rousing Call to Hindu Nation. It has been translated to several languages and thousands of copies have been sold. But in that small booklet, maybe about 150 pages, Manye Eknathji found that Swamiji had given a very clear-cut vision about India and what we should do for this nation, that its roots are dharma. So based on its dharmic cultural roots only should the regeneration take place. What are our weaknesses, what are our strengths, and what organizational work should be done. And he had just finished that work, and that day coincident when this group from Kanyakumari came to the school, he was just about to leave for some place, and Guruji called him. Guruji told him, this task you must take up. And Eknathji accepted it. He went ahead and studied it. And in spite of various difficulties, we find that the memorial became a perennial source of inspiration. It got constructed in record time of 6 years only. We will see how. What was the secret? One was the clarity of purpose. What Swami Vivekananda says, faith, faith, faith. Here we have two pictures. What was that once Eknathji and Sujatha, who has also written a comprehensive biography of Swami Vivekananda in 3 volumes, very, very well researched and interesting. Sujatha and Eknathji were there on the banks of on the shores, and Eknathji told him, you just look at those rocks, what do you see? Sujatha said, I see two rocks. He said, no, look again. He said, I see a few boats, I see the blue sky. Then Eknathji said, no, you see. Sujatha said, Are Baba, you tell me, what do you see? Eknathji said, I see a bhavya, a grand memorial for Swami Vivekananda on the rock. When did he say this? There is no permission neither from the central government nor from the state government, and there is complete opposition from the fishermen. At that time, Eknathji had already decided that there would be a grand memorial for Swami Vivekananda. So, another quality of Eknathji, which he brought to the memorial construction was, though there were so many opponents, for example, Bhaktavatsalamji, he said, in my lifetime I will not allow you. But then, Mani Eknathji kept meeting him regularly and reporting to him. Then there was opposition from, let's say, the fishing community. But he did not say Christians are opposing the memorial. He just said, Christian of the Christ. You see, this great quality in our place, a lot of times it happens. We were talking about unifying our people. One thing, the tendency is, these Kannadigas, they are like this. These Telugu people, no, they are like that. Tirupati people, no. Krishna Jilla, so much fun. So we tend to generalize what the attitude of one or two people or a few or a group of people to the entire community or to the entire society. Eknathji did never generalize. Just trivialize it and say, hey, just a section, people like that. And keep the dialogue open. Eknathji had met Bhaktavatsalamji so many times. Every time Bhaktavatsalam would say no to the memorial, no to this thing. But he would say something and say, okay, about this one point, after a few days, I will come and report to you, sir. So that gave him some space to keep meeting him the next time. Third quality was cordiality and wide contacts. We are talking about unifying the country. That atmiyata, that sahishnata, that sensitivity, what we call in Hindi as napan. Mani Eknathji was really very, very large-hearted, inclusive in this approach. We find that he had wide contacts with a whole lot of people from all sections, all walks of life. And when Lal Bahadur Shastriji was then the Home Minister, he told him, you collect a few MP signatures. Through this wide contacts, Eknathji, just in 3 days' time, and that too in triplicate, 3 original signatures, 323 MPs from across political parties signed for the Rock Memorial. How did he do it? Then Shastriji was very successful. PMK has signed, Communist Party has signed, people from Congress have signed, and not just chotu-motu leaders, some very, very renowned national level MPs have signed. So, Eknathji, you joined the Congress Party, we will clean it up, he said. Eknathji said, no, you be in the Congress Party. My work and mission is clear-cut. It is Swami Vivekananda's work that I have been want to do, I will do it. So, with this, and then how did he do it? For him, no person was negligible. Each person, irrespective of his caste, his financial status, etc., or his political color, all important to him. He would receive them, speak to them with the same cordiality as though it was his most beloved person. It might be a laborer, it might be the Prime Minister, it didn't matter. To him, a Hindu was a Hindu first, rest didn't matter. Then he would share with each one of them his plans for the memorial, his plans for the even the work that was to take place after the memorial was constructed. the organization came into place. Then, of course, there were a lot of difficulties, and we know one major one was the permission for the memorial. When 323 MPs signed, Shastriji submitted it to the Prime Minister Nehruji, and Nehruji said, I don't see any reason why this memorial should not come up. So immediately the information was given. So then by the time Eknathji returned to Chennai, Bhaktavatsalamji thought, now this man will come, Eknathji will come, like, see, all these days I requested you so much, you did not agree. And now the Prime Minister has ordered, you have to obey him. Now the memorial coming. He thought he'll come like that with so much arrogance. But Eknathji did not come like that. Eknathji said, all these days we have been fighting like this, but our Udesha was the same, objective was the same. You have no opposition to Swamiji. It was only about the memorial. Now that is taken care of. Please, you are my general. I am your major. You please command, I will obey, and the rock memorial will get done as per your wishes and under your guidance and orders. I was touched by this community. When Eknathji passed away in 1982, in the condolence meet at Chennai, he cried. That time he was in his 90s. He said, I have lost a dear friend of so much humility and so much dedication for the cause. That was his quality, his actionized patience. He would be waiting. For example, Shastriji would tell him, you wait for some time, I will try to get you an interview with someone like that. But at that time, he just would not sit idly. He would do some work or the other through which the approach, they would be closer to this objective. Then for the designs of the memorial, he had already engaged as Stapati. Stapati made, and he told Bhaktavatsalamji, I'll come in a few days' time with a few drawings, some from Indira Gandhi, like this, where renowned people. Out of those, you select which one we should construct. Every time, Bhaktavatsalamji would say only 15 by 15. You remember, it should be only 15 by 15. And Eknathji said 15 by 15. And so the drawings were made. Now Eknathji went and met Kanchi Parmacharya and showed him all the designs. He said, Kanchi Parmacharya, he said, you call the Stapati, I will speak to him. And Kanchi Parmacharya told him, this is a memorial, it's not a temple. So your designs are like a temple, it should be a memorial. And he all gave this guidance. And based on that guidance, the drawings were made. So with all inputs from Indira Gandhi, like this, about 6 drawings, Eknathji came to Bhaktavatsalam. And he told him, you see, this is the drawing approved by Indira Gandhi. This is the drawing approved by so and so, like that he showed. And there is one drawing by Kanchi Parmacharya. Immediately Bhaktavatsalamji said, you keep all these aside. You just show me that drawing approved by Kanchi Parmacharya. So Eknathji a little hesitantly took it out. He said, this is the drawing. Now if Kanchi Parmacharya ji has said, you should make it exactly like that. I will not allow any deviations. But, sir, this is slightly big. Doesn't matter. Kanchi Parmacharya ji has told, you do it like that. Eknathji had studied Bhaktavatsalamji. He knew that when in all political matters, he will follow as per Nehru. But when it comes to all other matters, it's as Kanchi Parmacharya guides. So when Bhaktavatsalamji came to know that Kanchi Parmacharya ji himself had got some design made, he said nothing doing. And what was the size? That small difference, what was 15 by 15, it became 135 by 94, a huge bulk. Because Eknathji was fixed, it should be a grand memorial, not a chutu-mutu memorial. And then for donations also, when he approached, see, when he went to Nagaland, that was another thing he was fixed, that it should be a truly national memorial. So he appealed to the state governments also to contribute. So Nagaland, when even the chief minister said, why should I give? Our Nagaland is for Christ. Eknathji said yes. And chief minister said, and people will say, who is this Vivekananda? Why should we donate for him? So Eknathji did not get perturbed. You see, he did not say, you don't know who Vivekananda is. He said, yes, it's possible. I have brought some booklets of Swami Vivekananda. You please go through, and if you think this is befitting, then you please donate on behalf of Nagaland. So I will meet you a few days on such and such a day. So about 15 days later or a month later, Eknathji goes to him and he says, the CM is very touched. He says, this is such a great, broad-minded vision Swami Vivekananda had. Had we known this, had the people of Nagaland known this much before, we would never have wanted to separate from India. Nagaland will gladly give you money. We are a small state, we can give you only a small amount. Eknathji said, amount doesn't matter, your involvement matters. And Nagaland also contributed. So this is how, with that kind of action, is patience. And the next one is of time and energy. Eknathji never wasted time, nor would he allow others to waste time. He would get extremely unhappy or sometimes even angry. But that anger was not out of moha. It was an anger out of concern that this should be done in time. After he took up the work in 1963, Eknathji wrote 22,000 letters, all typed and in duplicate. Wherever he went, he would carry, his personal assistant would go, and they would carry, in those times, they had a small portable typewriter, I think Remington or something, or Halda, one of those. And with those, whenever they had time, even in this thing, he would dictate letters in the train, and then they would have, till his passing away in 1982, 22,000 letters, all are digitized now. Then many times in the course of the memorial, there was not much money, and in between we know we had fought wars also, and India had faced great famine. Many of us who were born in the 1960s or would be aware of that. Shastri had to give a call that can we take up upvasa for 1 day a month so that we can feed our Jawans. That was the difficulty at that time. So no money for no food. Where will the money come for the rock memorial? And the budget was so high that sometimes there was no money to follow up, to give it to the laborers also. During that time, there was a time when it became like even probably we might have to give up the construction also. The laborers, see, they are daily wage earners. They came to Eknathji and said, we heard like this, but sir, please don't stop. This is punya work. Our generations together will remember that we came and worked for this. This is sacred work and this is work of dharma. If we stop now, we will tomorrow for food and all, we will have to go somewhere else and work, and we don't know when we can come back to this. So you just take care of our food. That is enough. Twice a day you feed us. Money when it comes, then you can pay us. You see, laborers also responded to this call of dharma. And meticulousness of Eknathji. Follow, you see that elephant there, towards the Sabha Mandapam. There are 2 elephants. On one particular day, this was, Eknathji had all the granite stones that you see there, Eknathji had marked which day, which ones would go. So whenever he returned from any pravasam or paryatana, he would come back first, not go to his room and freshen up. From the station or the bus stand, he would come straight to the memorial site or where the work site was going on, and he would check whether all those granite stones which were to be laid was finished or not. That day which work was to be completed, it was completed or not. And one particular time when he came up, he saw these elephants which were put on that day, placed there, finished and placed there, was not done. So he asked, what happened? They said, some problem came up, we will do it tomorrow. He said, nothing doing. It has to be done today, Mane, today. So one of his supervisor said, Eknathji, why do you insist so much? Tomorrow we will do. No, already the laborers are tired. Tomorrow morning we will do it. He said, no, today, Mane, today. But there is no power and it's already evening. He said, I will make some arrangements, and immediately got into the arrangements, got some. See, he has come tired after days of journey. Not yet taken bath, no cup of coffee, no cup of tea. Immediately electrical lines were all fit, bulbs and all were brought, and then the work began, and that late that evening, by around 8 or 9 o'clock, the work was completed. So someone who was there with him, he asked him, Eknathji, why are you so insisting? This is what pressurizing people. He said, if today I say yes for this one small piece of work, this memorial will go on for years and years. It has to be completed by 1970, means it has to be completed by 1970. On this particular day, the inauguration has to take place, means then all this has to be done likewise. And that is how time and energy were used. Even for this, for recognize this, the capacity to tap the potential around. We have already seen the story of the stone workers also, how they worked, how they also volunteered. Just give us food, it's okay if you don't pay. But we also contacted all state governments, irrespective of their parties. Initially, even the Kerala government resisted, but later, Kerala also came. So all state governments contributed. And Eknathji wanted to reach out maximum to the common masses of this country. So donations were 1 rupee, 2 rupee donations. But for that coupon in 1960s, you just see very colorful. I think the printing cost must have been more than the donation amount. But Eknathji said, no, Vivekananda means its perfection. It must be something very standard and inspiring. So this was what you see on the right side, that was the 1 rupee coupon in those times. One side the picture of the memorial, and on another side Swami Vivekananda's quotation. So, and through this, more than 80 lakh rupees, he wanted 1% of the adult population of India at those times should contribute to the cause. So 80 lakhs came from this 1 rupee, 2 rupee donations. And this is how the memorial looks now. The aerial view at night and during sunrise. The inaugural was also equally amazing. It ran on for 2 months, not 1 day or 2 days or 1 week, 2 months. Why 2 months? From all states. Each state was allotted some days. Maharashtra, 4 or 5 days, whatever they could afford. Like that, each state was allotted so many days. On those particular days, the speakers, the cultural program, all this was only by that particular state, nothing else. So only the first day, inauguration was on September 2, and as per the theme, in 1970, it was Swami Vivekananda's first day of the Chicago address. So that was the day, and you can see all these photographs of the inauguration and the crowd that had come. So 2 months the inaugural took place. We'll just look quickly at the special features of the Vivekananda Rock Memorial. There are 3 parts to it. One is the Dhyana Mandapam, where Omkaram is there. Another is Sri Pada Mandapam. Initially, this one had not agreed to the Sri Pada Mandapam, Bhakta. Then Eknathji went and told him how odd it will be for the Shishya we are constructing such a big memorial, and then and for Devi Mata, in whose Sharanam he came to discover his mission, we don't even have a small this thing. What will people think? He said, okay, you construct the Sri Pada Mandapam. And the third is the main memorial, Sabha Mandapam, where Swamiji's statue is a standing one. People wanted meditating one. He said, no, this is where he discovered his mission and the mantra Uttishthata Jagrata. So therefore that statue should also be like that, standing, and the feet, Swamiji's eyes fall directly on the feet of Mata Devi Kanyakumari, where her one foot is there. There she had meditated standing for Shiva. Before drawing the perfectionist that he was, before getting the statue made, he wanted the painting made. Painting was made by S.N. Pandit and the statue by Sunavadekar. Even this is very interesting. It was not by, he held a nationwide competition for the painting, nationwide competition also for the statues. And the one which came up the best only was given the task of doing it. Another interesting thing is that from the North Pole to the South Pole, and the land till the North Pole, Rock Memorial is correctly the same equidistant. And throughout the year you get exact sunrise pointers. Some interesting aspects. Total expenditure was 1.35 crores. 30 lakh Indians, that is 1%. We have seen 85 lakhs who contributed. We have seen also about members of parliament and state governments and all. It was in a design, the period of 6 years that it was constructed. Why it's a record period? Because the funding and the work, and it is in mid-sea. Just beside, we saw that there were twin rocks. The other rock, at that time itself, Eknathji proposed that Sage Maharshi Tiruvalluvar statue must come up there. In 1960s itself, he had proposed to the government of Tamil Nadu. And with complete state funding, it got inaugurated only in the 1990s. No money had to be taken in donation and all. So more than 30 years it took for that statue of Tiruvalluvar to come. And here such a great memorial just in record time of 6 years. We can understand the span. So, and 650 workers worked day and night for this. And even the accounts, that was another thing which Eknathji was very meticulous about. Money has come from the Samajam, from this thing. We are accountable for it, and the audited accounts were also duly submitted within that same financial year. Some of the specialities in those days, we started rainwater harvesting. And there was a dip in the natural dip in the rock, and since it's mid-sea, there's no fresh water. So it was rainwater that gets collected in the pond. S.K. Acharya was the traditional Sthapati. Except Tamil, he did not know any other language. And Eknathji did not know Tamil. But these two had a bond and each understood the other perfectly. So that was the greatness. Even the design of the entire rock memorial, it has the best architectural features of the best traditions of our country. The top thing, that is the eastern side, Bengal side tradition and all is reflected there. And inside Ajanta Ellora type of things. So the best architectural practices in stone and granite we find here in the rock memorial. So in that sense also it's a unifying point. Another thing is which architects told, that it is organic architecture. Nowadays we see something that doesn't gel with the place. Since it's rock, the entire structure is made of granite because only granite can withstand 24 hours of salt water. It keeps hitting, the waves keep hitting. So that was it. And this entire process of the rock memorial construction was documented in 3 forms. Audio, video, as well as written form. The book Story of Vivekananda Rock Memorial, which is also available in several languages, including English, Hindi, Telugu, Odia, Tamil, Malayalam, Kannada, I think even certainly Marathi, Gujarati and Punjabi and Bangla and Assamese. You can find this. But Eknathji was very, very clear. He said, I was not born to put one stone on another. That is not the mission of my life. My mission is to have a living memorial for Vivekananda. So, and Kanyakumari should serve just as an inspiration point for each one who comes there, and their energy should go to live or work out Swami Vivekananda's vision for this great country. So, to fulfill this, in 1972, Vivekananda Kendra was launched as an organization. The core cadre is Jivanabratis, mane who take a vrata that they will dedicate their lives to the country. Sannyas in mind, ordinary in clothes. So this is the core cadre. Apart from that, there are other shredis of full-timers. Vanaprasthis who have worked, retired but not tired, and health is fit and fine. They can also join. Then there are shiksharthis who want to dedicate their life for this thing. First 5 years, like in Ramakrishna Math, you have brahmacharya, like that. First 5 years of a Jivan Vrati's life, they are known as shiksharthis. Then we have seva vratis, who take vrata for at least 2 or 3 years. We will come as serve as full-timers. And then there are alpakalin seva vratis also, who feel, okay, at least 15 days or 1 month I can go and do this, or my family and we can go somewhere and work as full-timers and come. But it's not meant to be a vacation. Let's understand this. Then to translate this work into action for the national this thing, because Swamiji had said, we worship so many gods and goddesses, that is all fine. We know it's the Drishti might be Advaita, Vishishta Advaita, whatever. But then the living people, when we know Deva, Daivika, Ishvara is in all forms, to raise the entire world, we have to first raise our own people. So serve man, serve God. This Virata Swarup, Samaj is the Virata Swarup, Desha, the country is a Virata Swarup of Ishvara. Let us first worship our own people by not this kind of arati, but by involving them in their work and let their hearts unfold towards this. So, Vivekananda Kendra works now in more than 1,005, almost I think more than 1,500 centers in various fields. We have 2 core kinds of work. One is called Prakalpa, projects such as education, Vivekananda Kendra Vidyalayas. We have about total about 75 80 schools, most of which are in the northeast, and then Andamans and Nicobar Islands. There's one in Bangalore and 2 in Tamil Nadu. So Vivekananda Kendra Vidyalayas. Then we have yoga, then natural resources development, including the Green Rameshwaram project and the low-cost housing and all that, mainly concentrated in southern Tamil Nadu. Youth development, cultural research. We have the Vivekananda Kendra Vedic Leadership Foundation in Kodangalur, Kerala, and Vivekananda Kendra Institute of Culture in the northeast. It's northeast focused. And Vivekananda Kendra Aikyam, Academy for Indian Culture, Yoga and Management, that is based at Bhubaneswar, and coordinates work for among the Vanavasis. We don't like the word tribal. It was introduced by the British with some mischievous this thing. We prefer the word hill or forest communities, or Janajatis or Vanavasis. Nagarvasis, Gramavasis, Vanavasis. That's in our traditional way of looking at it. Kendra adopts that. So, Aikyam will coordinate work for Paschim Banga, then Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, the spirit, Jharkhand, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. So, the Janajatis, the coastline fishing communities, as well as the Vanavasis. Involving and sustaining their traditional way of life for continuity. So academic application, research, but application will be by the traditional communities. So Government of India actually awarded that's Gandhi Peace Prize also last year, 2019. Once in 4 years these awards are announced. So, and whatever money we got, 1 crore is the peace prize. Kendra immediately dedicated it to the Pulwama martyrs and to the armed forces. People ask, all the time you are in need of so much money, but why did you give up that 1 crore? See, recognition is by the government. Money for all our activities is sustained by the people. That 1 crore should go back for something significant. That was our hour. What is the driving thought for Vivekananda Kendra? It is this spirit of unity. Swami Vivekananda used to say, national union in India is a gathering up of its scattered spiritual forces. It's not just a cut and paste, unify. No, nowadays many times we say, what is there? Muslims and Christians and Hindus, we are all alike, our traditions are all alike. Our religion is a religion of peace. Swamiji was very, very clear. He said, you see, all their, it was Colombo to Almoda lectures, he says that, and he told the West also, your borders are always bloody, he said. Blood-laden, full of war. Why? Because these religions are not of peace. Their peace are on their terms. The unity or harmony is only for people who accept their orders, their way of life, their religion. And Swamiji said in Colombo to Almora that we will have to revitalize. How? It should be a union whose hearts beat to the same spiritual tune, means whose drishti, whose way of life is Sanatana Dharma. It might be the Sikhs, it might be now they might be calling themselves separate, it might be the Buddhists, it might be the Jainas, or overall what we call the Hindus. But the traditions where Aditi is, where we say Ishvara is everywhere, and everything has emanated from Ishvara, which believes in rebirth, which believes that Ishvara can take all forms. It could be of women, goddess or gods. These, if you look throughout the country, this is the spirituality. The traditions, the way of life might be different, but the hearts beat to the same spiritual tune. So looking at the common basis that binds us of all these Sanatana Dharma traditions. So, and yoga is the core of Vivekananda Kendra. But by yoga we do not mean just yoga abhyas. That many organizations are actually concentrating on. And Kendra also has yoga varga. But yoga varga is not for just a therapy of mokal noppalo, knee joint pain or back pain and all. Those are there, and over a period of time those can get corrected. But Kendra is concentrating on the therapy of our samajam, our nation. So that with the spirit of yajna. That spirit we will just take a quick look at. This we know is Akhanda Mandalakaram. And we have Samashti and Vyashti. Vyashti is the smaller entity. It's not just the individual. Wherever individual or the smaller group or the smaller team gets linked to a higher this thing. So the constant interaction. We know from Akhanda Mandalakaram that everything in the world is interconnected, interrelated and interdependent. So no one person or no one group or no one community or no one organization can say, okay, we can take care of the entire country. No, it's not possible. Of the world, not possible. So how is it possible? It's in that spirit of yajna, what we call the Dharma Chakra. That whenever a smaller unit, it might be a baby, it might be a small group, an individual employee in an institution or a Karyakarta in an organization. Initially, the Samashti takes care of its Yogakshema, equips the smaller entity, the Vyashti, and then the Vyashti starts performing, starts working karma, for which karma phala is given by the Samashti. And then, but difficulty lies in the last one. When I get, for example, if an employee, I get some money, I think this money is all mine. I forget it was the Samashti. It is not just my family. It's a whole lot of people, known or unknown, who contributed and who are still contributing to the so that I can live I can survive, I can work out my aspirations for my life. It's the samashti's contribution. So, giving that part of my resource to the samashti as yajna, it is only then that the samashti can get nurtured. So, I am simultaneously part of the vyashti, I am also part of the samashti. Samashti is not something out there. I am simultaneously both. When I am receiving from the samajam, I am receiving food, I am receiving clothes, I am receiving all kinds of things, then training, then I am vyashti. When I am able to give back, or whenever I respond back to the society, I am playing the role of samashti. So, this is what Kendra's work is, as a spiritually oriented service mission. So, yes, various organizations are there. We will just look at the questions in a few minutes. I'll just let's just quick look at how Kendra works. The Dishtha is Karma Yoga. Mane, lot of jnana is there, lot of bhakti is there, shraddha is there, but practically unless we work it out in the ground, then it will be difficult. So national reservation has to come up, means we have to take out time and use our resources to work it out practically at the ground level, at the grassroots level, among the classes as well as the masses. So quick view of our activities. These are Vivekananda Kendra Vidyalayas, Arunachal and all that I had told you about. Then we also run Balwadis, northeast, we have it in the southern Tamil Nadu, and many other places in the country. Anandalayas in the tea gardens of Assam, as well as Arunachal Pradesh, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, and all in the slum areas. From there, from amongst them, the youth, we train them and they take care of, it's both samskaram as well as their tuition-like, but it's not tuition, it's free. And daily some shloka, this thing, and yoga abhyas and all also, Surya Namaskara is also taught, also their education. Then slowly through Anandalaya, we also, if it's cities, it's the slum areas and all. If it's rural pockets, then villages. So medical, both, yes, in curative we have some hospitals and we do run medical camps and all, but our emphasis has been on preventive. Our people, our core human resources should be healthy. So they should become unwell so that I get a feeling that, oh, I have done so much service. That is not proper, Iknaji used to say. But he used to say education and health are really big seva. But missionaries have reduced this as a core seva, Annadanam and Vidyadanam and medical camps and this thing as core seva. But Eknaji used to say that higher than that is this mumukshutva. But higher than that is having a samajam where each one feels the sense of nurturing. But that spirit, great, we are losing, and Vivekananda Kendra's focus point is the Adarsha Samaja Vyavastha. So this regenerating the spirit of Yajna in people. So rural development, youth activities, this is Vivekananda International Foundation, our National Security Advisor Ajit Dovalji. He was its director before he became the NSA. It is for inter-civilizational study. Right now the chairman is S. Gurumurthy ji. He's a renowned chartered accountant also, and very known this thing. Is the thing visible, or I think we have lost the network?
Now it's come back again.
Yeah, just a minute. Just give me a minute, please. Work, Karya Paddhati, which Lalitaka was referring to, how does one gradually motivate, inspire, and towards this vision? So every organization has a Karya Paddhati. For example, in RSS, it is the Shakha system. In some other organization, something else. So every organization has its core way of transforming the or gradually involving karyakartas, developing and unfolding their potential. In Vivekananda Kendra, this Karya Paddhati has 4 dimensions. One is Kendra Varga, in which all age groups can come, and weekly once 1 hour it is there, in which some games, yoga abhyas and organizational related some study is there. Entire family can come, karyakartas of whichever responsibility they are holding, they can all come. Similarly, we have Sanskar Varga. This is for 1 hour, 1.5 hours per week, or sometimes 2 hours also. 10 to 14 or 8 to 15 age group come. Class 6 to class 10, even intermediate one. But we try to ensure that youth take it up, or young couples, they get involved in taking it. Its effects are different. In that also we have Sanskar Varga, we have a little bit of Ajna Abhyasam, Shloka, Mantra Abhyas, and then Bhagavad Gita. And then a lot of more time is given to games, teen games, as well as for story, incidents, narrating incidents, rather than just stories, incidents. Then Yoga Varga with Yoga Abhyas as a core, but every day 10 or 15 minutes, some interactive session will be there. It might be lecture, not necessarily, but discussion, group discussion, mantra abhyas, some game, some part of which it is interactive, and Swadhyaya Varga, study circles, literature through which our understanding, Swa Adhyaya, Swa, our culture, our history, our traditions, or Vivekananda, that study improves, as well as we are able to, it should be Kriti Sheela Swadhyaya, not just start coming and studying and going away. Whatever we have learned, we try also to put it into practice. So that is Karya Paddhati. So gradually, by coming regularly in this and to these various forms and various training, those who are getting involved are also given additional training, so their skills and their involvement also grows, their aptitude and the spirit of going for our nation, our society. This is Kendra's way of doing it. So these are some of the pictures of such of these activities. Kendra Varga, this is Samskar Varga that you see. This is our Yoga Varga. Swadhyaya Varga is, this is Kendra Varga. This is one activity we have started, just experimented with last year onwards. Spread your wings, it is for the adolescent age group. So initially we start with topics in an interactive way, and gradually we involve some of them in the further activities. And then there are, of course, training camps for karyakartas at various levels. Then we have shibirs also, all India level camps and local camps, spiritual retreats, yoga shiksha shibir, yoga instructor course, various activities are there. This year especially, as I said at the beginning, it is the 50th year of the Vivekananda Rock Memorial, and next year will be 50 years of Vivekananda Kendra as an organization. So it is Ek Bharat, Vijayi Bharat. It is just not just simply unifying cut and paste. It is through the heart and including and opening up our hearts to include people. So what we say in Telugu, Kalpadam. So when Bharat and people across various communities, across regions begin to feel that yes, I am part of this great nation and together we have a great role to play, and they get involved in this work, then it will be Vijayi Bharat. So this is the logo in Telugu, and it is our turn now. 50 years ago, many of us might have been born, might not have been born. 50 years later, I'm not very sure how many of us will be there. But now we have the it should be the time that we can actually contribute in whatever way. It should be the Ek Bharat Vijay Bharat. It's our response to this challenge of breaking India forces. Ek Bharat Vijay Bharat is a mantra. When we are doing our Surya Namaskars, when we are doing this thing, gradually we find that with that mantra, Trayati iti, it will gradually, that potential also unfolds. Our consciousness also begins to expand. Yes, we see the breaking India forces because all the media attention is always on what breaks. But what nurtures is always working very, very, very silently. It doesn't catch people's attention. It should not. It's like dewdrops. It keeps falling, but gradually small plants come in its wake. This is the way a mantra wakes. It's not all of a sudden. It's not a revolution. Revolutions will come, revolutions will go. But what evolves is always a gradual and steady and paced, time-bound work. This is our response. Ek Bharat, Vijayi Bharat. This was, with this mantra you just see, this is a picture from Gujarat. I always find this very inspiring. More than 1,000 youth who did, that day performed here 108 Surya Namaskars in Gujarat's Modhera Sun Temple. 2020. And in their performance, who were qualified, for 6 months, each one of them performed minimum 108 Surya Namaskars every day, attended camps and took Samskar Varga or some activity. Only those such youth, 1,000, more than 1,000 youth came there, girls and boys, college students. These are not school children, mind you. These are all college students who perform there. With this mantra, Ek Bharat, Vijay Bharat. With that is the spirit, we will certainly overcome. So I was asked also to share in what way we can get involved in this. I think each one of us can give something. And the most precious of that something is time to further these activities. We can either start it locally, or if we are in a place where there are already centers, Kendra Center, we can get involved. The other is, we might already, there's this one thing caution. Many of us must be already part of a national level organization, in which case it's not necessary that you should come up and take a Kendra responsibility. But in our circuit, we might know some people whom you think can be involved in this kind of work. Please share with them this appeal that they too can contribute. Many times people say, because especially if we are in a national level organization, then we have meetings, we might be having camps and all that. At such time, people should not feel a conflict, whether to go there or come here. In Dharma, there should not be any conflicts. It is something that resolves. It should bring us together. So, ఎవరైనా ఇల్లు పాడ చేసి మన ఇల్లు కన్స్ట్రక్ట్ చేయడానికి అస్సలు it should not happen. So already if you have daitva or badhyata in some other organization, that is fine. But if you feel you know some people or you can contribute in some way, you are welcome. The second is skills for various things, for our training, for Anandalaya, for education, formal or informal. Various other things are also there. Just recently I was in Parvatipuram day before yesterday. They wanted to know whether someone can link them for some solid waste management. We are trying to make Parvatipuram one model for cleanliness. So collecting a lot of plastics and all, segregating them. So we want to teach our villagers and colonies there, localities. It's not something that Kendra will do permanent. We want to train and then give them the model. You can turn this into tiles or something else and earn something from that, which will be distributed equally among, depending on what you have contributed for the garbage collection and all that, segregating dry. This is just one activity. Another, we are making some temples are focal, and then the community comes there, women come there for bhajans and all, and gradually we can reach them something else. So depending on the area or the requirement, certain skills and all might be required. Education and all, yes. Money, certainly, vitamin M to run a lot of activities. Some places, most of us are voluntary, but then money is required to organize activities. So money can be given. Let's say for Pariposhak, yesterday I was being asked, okay, Amma, you are going here, there. What about your own expenditure? So yes, we do not draw salaries, but our yoga kshema is taken care of by the organization, and people donate for this. They are called Pariposhak patrons, and they fill up a form and money goes to Kanyakumari. And wherever such karyakartas, Jivanvati or Shiksharthi karyakartas are there, their need is taken care by the organization. Money, it might be sometimes health is not well, we need to take medicines and all that, or for the maintenance, support and all that. Those things are taken care of by such money, and every month we send our accounts also for that. Money, everything is accounted for. Local travel and all, organizations require money for local program and organizing and travel. For that also money is required. In Hyderabad, someone has been generous enough to give us 2 flats, newly constructed in Erramansil area, near the Taj Krishna Road. Those of you who know Hyderabad area, Erramansil, Taj Krishna, down towards, going towards Hyderabad, that's the road. It's in a very good area. Hindu organizations barely have any presence there. But to do the interiors, the architect has quoted about 40-45 lakhs. The other flat owners are saying they have spent on their own flat 30-35 lakhs. I said we are not going for anything posh, but for these 2 flats, one will be a Prant Karyalaya, and it will be multi-dimensional activities. Another is for the Vasati. There's not even a single shelf there. So the cost is coming to, estimates come to about 40-45 lakhs. If you know people who can contribute for this, either from within India or abroad, that also is welcome. Amount isn't important. The involvement and your giving it with blessings, that is more important. So that is thing. And the 4th thing, all of us here who are present here can definitely contribute, is your prayers and Ashirvadam, blessings. These always somewhere we believe gives us a lot of internal strength. With this, we come back to that initial question. How would you like to participate in continuing this great legacy that Swami Vivekananda has bestowed on us? You're all welcome to this great Rashtriya Yajna. Please do visit the Rock Memorial. You are also, if you are interested, you can also visit our Northeast activities. With this, I take leave. Pranams for this and Dhanya Asmi for this